Hi guys, this is Rick Daily 12, and I'm here with the Jamandy52. After, well, I call him Luke here, finally got his 200M cooking.
Woohoo!
Your second 200M. Wow.
Yeah.
So much for untrimmed construction, but okay.
Oh, are we gonna go back down that road again? I think we went over why I decided to trim in the first place, but
Yeah. You broke your promise then.
Whatever. I do have to say, honestly, I still miss the untrimmed construction cape. I honestly do.
But what made you choose to do 200M cooking anyway?
Well, I've known that I've always wanted all 200 mils, so in a sense the order doesn't matter. But after doing what a lot of people referred to 200 mil construction untrimmed as the impossible, I wanted to take a few steps down and do something that would be more considered simple and easy before I took on another challenging 200 mil.
A 200M like prayer, or heck even dungeoneering.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Alright, so I think I already know the answer to this one, but was 200M cooking easier than construction?
You know, that's a challenging question, in terms of, was it easier to train this skill? In terms of skill ability, it was easier, it didn't cost as much, but it was so easy that it was harder.
So it bored you?
Yeah, pretty much. It was fine until 120 mil XP. After 120 mil XP, I was just like, oh my god, why am I still cooking?
Well, you have a lot more of a longer attention span than I do to train cooking that long. I'd always kind of think that when you get to 120 and you're not quite at like 180, it just gets so much of a drag that you just kind of want to quit right halfway through it and just do something else more fun.
Yeah, but arguably 120 is over halfway, so if you've gone that far, why stop then?
Good point. So, did you enjoy cooking all that much?
You know, honestly, at first I did, but then when the bonfires came out, my whole perception of cooking changed. I didn't enjoy that, and the atmosphere of where I had to go to get bonfires, that wasn't fun, and that changed everything. It was really it put a negative outlook for me on the actual skill.
It was the bonfire that killed it for you?
It wasn't actually the bonfires, it was great XP, it was the atmosphere. I spent so much time with my public chat off because I couldn't stand all the trolling and the racist remarks and just the juvenile behavior of the people around me who were supposedly adults with kids. And the trolling went overboard. I think there was a regular pattern between what they would all troll about. You could predict it, literally, and it just got repetitive and boring and old, and you'd see the same conversations 4 times a day.
Okay, so I take it that your method was the bonfire, right?
That's right. Before that, it was the Varrock Cooking Guild. That was a beautiful place to train. But then when bonfires came out, it made more sense to train on the player-made bonfire, so I chose to do the World 100 Shantae route.
Okay. So, if you had to do it all over again, how would you do it?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
I might be more proactive about effigy assists. I might not even have left the cooking guild. I might have put up with 10% more time spent on the skill to where I would actually enjoy it, or I might have watched more movies.
So, where did you train? Was it always at the Shantae Pass World 100?
No. I tried the GE. I also tried Lumbridge in World 100, but it was all pretty much the same. The fire was most consistent at World 100 Shanty, but thankfully I also had plenty of friends who were willing to come and light fires for me, and that made the whole experience a lot more fun. It was more social, it was more enjoyable. I just liked it a whole lot more.
You know, in one Elite, I have this friend named Andy, and she was just doing, it was either cooking or fire making, but she would always be at the bonfires at World 100. And I remember she, like, got this prize lamp, and it was horrible because she had a full inventory at the time, and so, like, apparently this lamp was dropped at this Vex with all those people doing those bonfires. And so she was just like, oh my gosh, there's like 19,000, 1,800 people sitting on top of this lamp, and then everyone was panicking and get that lamp out of those group of people.
There's a better way. There's a better way. It's actually not well known. If you turn your trade and your assist off, you will cut down on the number of options on people. And then you want to bank your stuff so that you have an inventory space. You want to line up your mouse wherever you know that you need to have it. So then you want to log out quickly, put your mouse back there, hit log in, right click, so that the first thing you should be right clicking is the Vex, and then the next thing you should see is your random event gift, and or whatever it is that you dropped, and you should be able to quickly pick it up. And you have about 2 minutes to log in and out successfully to retrieve it. So people shouldn't have to be standing there going, oh my god, please move, because the bots aren't going to move, and the bots in themselves are enough to prevent you from getting it if everybody else moved anyway. So, you should just try the log out, log in method.
Either way, I know that a friend of hers lost 2 million coins that day.
That is a terrible loss.
Yeah, poor Allie. So, did you ever think of quitting cooking?
I think I thought about it every single time I hit another mil XP. It was like, and I'm not stopping now because initially, up until about 122 mil XP, my mentality was the same as construction. XP milestone, oh my god, yay, woohoo, I did it, wait, I can do better. With cooking, it was, woohoo, I made it this far, I lived, oh my god, can I stop now? But I knew if I walked away, I wouldn't come back.
That's usually how it goes. You have to just be in the mood for it. That's why I still don't have the quest cape yet.
Yeah, I was forcing myself to cook when I couldn't stand it. I would tell myself, you know what, the only way to get this done is to get in and do it, so if anything, I guess I learned perseverance from this skill.
So, here's an interesting thought. You told me that when you were doing 200M construction, that it took years to do it, and it was such a long journey, and you just had to keep on going, and it was just such a drive that got you there. Yes. And then, that party was in February, and here
January.
You are now with... Oh,
28th.
January. Right, I'm sorry.
2012.
And so, here you have cooking, and it's August now.
Yeah.
Now that you have your second 200M, does this make you feel like all the 200Ms, the rest of them, seem closer to you now or further away?
Well, there's a few that, if anything, I'm not looking forward to them, but if I can survive cooking, I can survive anything. But there are others that, my motivation with cooking was often get done so that I can get onto this 200 mil, because there are others that I'm definitely looking forward to. I think
like magic?
Sure. I think that if I hit out my favorite ones, eventually I'll come around to the others, or there will be updates that will change how the remaining ones will be trained. So I think it's closer.
I bet tmoa really helps you with that too, don't they?
tmoa is a very inspiring and motivating clan. I love being in there. I love the motivation that they bring. Half of them never even know when they're motivating me. I don't think they do. But there's, we have some friendly trolling that goes on, and we also have serious conversations. And it's a great place for a source of advice. And people like Atticus Bird and M and Adrian and Dr. Fapping and Cambrum and Jebram were definitely the biggest motivators there. I also want to say thanks to Annie Ray, because she was really, really amazing in that last push for it. She was probably the biggest motivator. She kept checking in, asking me how close I was. So was M. And they're just cheering me on towards the end. I think they knew that I was burnt out on cooking, all pun intended. And I had to get through that last bit. So tmoa was extremely inspiring.
Speaking of burning things, your girlfriend, she sure loved all that burnt meat, didn't she?
Yeah, and I'm waiting for her to get back from her trip so that I can trade her another, 5k pieces of burnt crap.
And here I thought once you have 99 cooking in those gloves, you hardly burn anything anymore.
That's true. However, there were a lot of people who were dropping burnt crap all over Enchanty, as well as
Oh.
every time I got random, I would pick up a whole inventory of stuff. So no, Jagex, I was not being a retard. I actually wanted all of those burnt shrimps and sardines.
So what's next for you? What's going to be your next step for the Jamandy52's journey to all the 200 mils?
Well, honestly, I was going to get a little bit of a jump start on dungeoneering, but then I started looking at these quest bosses, and it was literally a couple hours before the party that I started questing. I said, you know what, I want the quest cape before EOC. I'm not, like, opposed to EOC. Okay, I am. But I'm not looking forward to quest bosses with EOC combat. I don't want to be held back thinking I've got to learn all this stuff before I can, which is kind of a disappointment. I want to be able to go, you know what, I want to do this quest and do it, so I decided to go get the quest cape. Now I'm almost there. And after the quest cape, I will resume my goal of 200 mil dungeoneering now that members of my team are back from their holidays.
And you know, good thing that you're doing that now, because I have a friend who's really into questing, and so he really likes the Dominion Tower. His name is Zectable. And so, a person that he happens to love more than anyone is Nomad. Who doesn't love Nomad? Well, when you've killed him like 100 times already, otherwise I don't. But I hear Nomad is really difficult in the EOC, and the last thing in the world you can do to him now is melee him, because apparently his mines are a one-hit KO now. So it's interesting to see what kind of upgrades that guy has gotten and all the rest of them.
I'm looking forward to trying that because Nomad is very fresh for me. I completed him 5 days before the recording of this audio. I still remember the fight very well. I also only died 5 times, which was actually less than I anticipated. But I also know that a lot of people give Nomad more credit than he deserves. He's not actually that hard once you know what you're doing.
Yes. Or that's how I felt too, after I died like twice. Pretty good. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. Did you complete the quest?
Yes.
Awesome.
Although I'm starting to hate range. I mean, Void was nice. I'm so glad I'm that much into Conquest I could use Void, but if it weren't for Void, I would have maged. Don't ever use Mage! Well, I was going to. Okay, so one last thing I want to ask you is, who inspired you the most to get 200M Cook?
I have several people that I'm gonna go ahead and name in this trek, but the very first person, and it was a huge honor to have him at the party, is a person by the name of Flabberwocky. I want to tell you just a little bit about Flabberwocky so that you understand why I respect him so much, and then I'll tell you what it is he said that pushed me to get the 200 mil cooking. Flabberwocky is a really good, he's been known to write and edit Runescape newsletters. He's had a couple of different business magazines. His most famous is Business Pulse magazine. If you search around online, you'll find it. You'll also find him in a Tidbit interview talking about Wildian free trade, and he also makes some very intelligent posts about different updates all over the forums. If he's posted somewhere, it's definitely worth reading. Flabberwocky is a very, very smart man, and he is extremely nice, and he's very creative, and I look up to him a lot. I had the pleasure of working for him on Business Pulse for a few months last year. Flabberwocky, it was last year when we were working on Business Pulse that he was looking at the construction high scores first, because that's when I explained to him the 200 mil I wanted to get, and he was nothing but supportive. Well, then he started looking at the other 200 mils, and he said, you know, it would be a really good idea to get 200 mil cooking before the top 500 slots are taken. I honestly believe the top 500 slots have been filled between the free players who are no longer here on the high scores, or even the free players who may have gotten it in free-to-play that'll never be on the high scores. So I honestly do believe that the top 500 slots are taken, but I made it a personal goal of mine to get my 200 mil cook before the current 500 slots that were showing were there. And it was Flabberwocky's words that kept echoing in my head, so now I will always tell myself that I'm ranked 466 in cooking. Between that summer and now, I had some friends who were trolling me about my construction goal, or telling me to go get something like cooking. One of my friends who I haven't seen in a very long time, but his name was Yi Liar Yi, he was going to beat me to 200 mil construction, and when that wasn't going to happen, he said, I will beat you to 200 mil cooking, and I'm afraid I won that too. Finally, I had some friends in 1 Elite that were training 200 mil cooking. Monica, you keep changing your name, but you know who you are. You were really fun to race with XP. I actually used a bonus XP weekend on cooking because I wanted to beat your weekly XP because it was good. And the race with you was enough to get me initially started and into it. Mizzou, you wanted 200 mil cooking too. And then you had other stuff come up, and I kind of beat you too. But you gave me a lot of advice initially beforehand, and you had no idea I was thinking of 200 mil cooking at the time, so thank you. Pibby Spot, Andy, Allie, Bob, Nex, and I feel really bad because I know I left somebody out in that equation. Kebab Thief, you all came and trained with me. They were all fantastic. And they motivated me to, beat XP records. So did Louise. It was really cool. And then, on my journey, Atticus Berg from TMOA started doing the whole 200 mil cook, as well as a couple people I met over there cooking, and throughout RuneScape eventually joined TMOA. So I have a few friends from TMOA that I got to cook with, even though we didn't, get it anywhere near each other. So those are the people that inspired me to 200 mil cooking.
That's a lot of people.
It is, for such a newbie skill.
Then again, for such a newbie skill, that's so easy to get 200 mil, and you meet a lot of people on your way there.
I did meet a lot of people. In fact, I even had the pleasure of meeting 3 of the people that I really wanted to meet in RuneScape. I guess I would say reunited with one and met 2 others. I reunited with Starry U, who I met in Fast SC when I was going for 200 mil construction. She has 200 mil construction. I met Geel, who has 200 mil construction. A very quiet fellow. Nice, though. I met Robert, and his words to me were, good, I beat you in 200 mil construction. And right afterwards, I met Mangekio Elf, who has 200 mil construction as well, and he gave me some dungeoneering advice, so I'm actually pretty excited about that. So I met a lot of cool people, and several people with 200 mil con XP, so that always excites me.
Anyway, thank you for your time. I'm really glad to be able to interview you.
Yeah, I want to thank you too, Rick. You have been a really fantastic friend and a great support, and I've had a lot of fun with hanging out with you and getting to know you, and I look forward to people getting to know you over YouTube.
And I'm sorry I don't really know how to end this interview with a bang, other than, okay, well, I guess we're done here. I'm just that boring.
Aw. Hugs, Rick. You're pretty awesome. So, I want to thank Rick Daily 12 for interviewing me for this video, and I want to say thank you to everyone who's watching. If you want to see more of Rick Daily, please feel free to leave me some comments and send me some messages, and I will force Rick Daily onto YouTube more often. And I just want to thank you all for a fantastic time, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Bye!